Let's get started here. Thanks for joining BlueSync on the 18th of December. We're going to talk a little bit about phishing emails and what to do when you click a link. So you clicked a sketchy link, now what? We all get those emails where we're not sure if, there's an attachment, it looks like a PDF, or there might be a link. Someone says, so-and-so, something about billing, or your payments past due, or we want to give you money. We want to send you reimbursement. Click this link. Don't click the link, please. If you do, there's some remediation that has to take place afterwards. Not the end of the world. Accidents happen. So after you've clicked the link, whether it be an attachment that opened a PDF or whether it's a link that opened up to a website, first thing you want to do is stop interacting with it. Even if it says enter your credentials to close this window, or sign into your Google account or your Microsoft account, don't do it. Close the browser, close Adobe, whatever happened to open, just close all the programs on your computer. Unfortunately, if you've clicked a link and you have a bunch of important stuff open on the other window or another tab, you're out of luck. You have to close the browser. Anything you enter after that point, you could be giving it to a malicious actor. So, that's why being cautious and don't click links. That's my number one tip I always tell people. Don't click on links unless you're sure where it's going to take you or what it's going to open. So close your browser. Open your browser again after that. So when you click a link, it's actively running in your browser. Best thing to do is when you close it, it shuts down a lot of those links and the connections to the malicious person's computer or network or server. So close your browser, wait a second, open it back up, and then clear your browser's history and cache. We will be doing a demo of that here shortly with Google Chrome. So notify IT immediately. It's the best thing you can do. So the link you clicked, any actions that you took. So, did the email come in? Why was it looking suspicious? What are some red flags that might, have led you to believe that you clicked on that bad link? And then attach any screenshots. That's the most important thing. Please don't forward me the scam or the virus or the malware, because if it comes to me, it's going to hit everyone. So we don't want that. So the best thing is screenshots. And that's typically when you hit that little down arrow right next to the name in the email, it will tell you the actual email address it came from. Most of the time, the links or the email addresses will say something like, John Doe 46832@gmail.com or at Microsoft. A lot of times when people throw extra numbers in there, those are some red flags to be cautious for, because typically people don't have a bunch of numbers after their name and the email address. So it's looking for those things that don't fit. What's normal, what's not normal. So if you click the link right away, even if you close the browser, it does not solve it. Clearing your browser history, notifying IT. We're going to run an antivirus scan, a deep level scan after that happens, to make sure that nothing malicious is still going on. We'll look at network logs to make sure your computer is not sending gigabytes of data and all your files somewhere. We're going to make sure that your computer is clean. We might actually have to take your computer down for a little bit. We might isolate your computer from the network, which means basically killing the internet to it and any network. So basically your computer can infect the rest of the computers in the office. That's a thing. We've all heard about ransomware. We don't like that word, but it can happen. So if you click a link, your computer could become infected. And with that, it can, if a worm is attached to malware or ransomware, it can take over the entire office and lock everyone's computer out and demand ransom to unlock the computers. And the people that craft these things, they're good. Typically there's not a way to break into it. There's been large companies, schools, hospitals that have lost data and have had to restore from backups because they can't unlock it. So it's very important being cautious, not to click those links, because it might not only affect your computer, a personal computer, the agent's computers, and any guests that might be on the network. So you have to be cautious with that. Typically, also what will happen, we're going to change your email password. We're going to log you out of all your Gmail accounts everywhere, and you'll change that password. Worst comes to worst, we might have to restore the PC. So we might have to erase everything that's on there. So backups are important. If you guys have important files, please utilize the Google Drive. That's part of our G Suite. We offer it as a solution. Right now, there's not really too much of a limit on how much data you can put up there. Don't throw terabytes of data, but if you got a gigabytes of files and folders and stuff, throw it in the drive in case anything happens. And some best practices. If someone does get your password, they can get into everything. We don't want to use a single password for every website, because I can take your username, and if I have your password, I can run it through an AI program or malicious programs that have been crafted that will run it by the top 1,000 websites out there. Huntington, Chase, Gmail, Yahoo, AOL. It'll run every account, and it will use that email and that password, and it will attempt to log into every single one of those sites all at the same time. It takes a matter of seconds. At that point, it's going to flag, and then the scammer or the malicious actor is going to know exactly what they can do. So two-factor authentication. If they do have your password and email, as long as you have two-factor authentication set up and you get that 6-digit code sent to your phone or your email, they would have to have that to get into your account. So that's an important thing. Although there are some things out there called 0 days. So a 0 day is when somebody creates a virus and sends it out to people, and the major companies that protect against that, whether it be Google, the antivirus companies, Cisco, a 0 day means that no one's aware of it, but it can affect you. So I know with iPhones, if you have an iPhone right now, Apple just released an update this week that prevents against a few 0 day attacks where zero user interaction is needed. So that's a matter of just viewing an email or a photo that somebody sent you on your phone can automatically run code and interact and do malicious things on your phone or take over your device or your computer. So 0 days are no good. Yeah, Kim, what you got?
Just wanted to bring up the fact that don't ever type in accidentally CB desk instead of my CB desk. Remember when I had that a couple weeks ago where
Oh yeah. Yeah, be cautious anytime you type out a URL. So if you go to type out, and that's called, I think, not typo squatting, but it misdirects. So if you go to type out Facebook and you type out, 1 O instead of 2, or, just different URLs that, are just 1 or 2 letters off. Scammers know that. They'll buy the domain Facebook with 1 O. So when somebody mistypes it, they'll be directed to another website. And if the scammer's good, they'll copy the same layout as Facebook or Gmail. If you do Gmail with 2 M's or something, it will take you to the malicious site. You'll think you're logging into Gmail or Facebook, but in fact, you're logging into that scammer's personal server, and everything you type out, even though the passwords are asterisked, they can still see your password clear as day. So there's man-in-the-middle attacks where, when you type that in, they can even pass it on to Google and still give you your current Gmail account or still give you Facebook, but they'll be interacting as the middleman, so they'll see everything you do. So passwords. Use a different password for every website. Use the password manager. It's built into Google Chrome. It should be more than 8 characters long. It should include symbols and numbers. All right. So we got Google Chrome here. We're going to do a quick demo on how to erase your history in cache. So first step, you've clicked that link. You're not sure what to do. So we close the browser, and now we open it back up. You'll go back to your home page. Click the three dots in the top corner. Hover over history. Then hover over history here. You'll get all your browsing history here. Every website you've gone to for the weeks or months. Left-hand side, delete browsing data. Okay, this is a very important step right here. You have to be cautious because if the wrong thing is checked, you could lose any saved passwords or any other details that you might not want to lose. Another thing, delete browsing data. How long do you want to delete it? Sometimes it's best practice to go all time because you can delete the last hour's worth of data, but that means everything before that is not going to be deleted. And if you click the link an hour and 1 minute ago, it's still going to be infected and still actively running inside of Chrome, inside of your cookies, thus interacting with every website you go on. So it's best to go all time. And you want to have at least these top 3 or 4 items checked. Cached images, cookies, and browsing history. Site settings, autofill data, and hosted app data don't have to be selected. So select these and delete from this device. Now it's deleted. So when we go back to look at our history, it's empty. It's as simple as that. So after you do that, the next step would be to notify IT via an email, a phone call. You want to put the word urgent. I clicked the link or something along those lines so we know the importance of it. At this point is when I'm going to run a deep antivirus scan on your computer and just make sure that everything is clean. That's what will determine the next steps at that point, whether we need to isolate, reformat your computer, or just do some deep dive. So if you click the link right at 1 o'clock or 12 o'clock right before you got to get those checks submitted, you may be offline a little bit. So you'll have to utilize the iPad, go to your Gmail, your Ring Central account to answer calls. If you have a Google Meet, you can still take that from the iPad. So your computer could be down for a little bit, but we have other solutions that allow you to do your job if that is the case. So yes, they are horrible, Brenda. And they're only getting worse because, with AI taking over, yeah. So, yeah, password manager. I'll show you guys really quick on the password manager side of things. When you go to sign into a website, it may say, do you want to save this password? Select yes if it's in Chrome. But if you click these 3 dots up here in Chrome, passwords and autofill, and then Google Password Manager. If you click that, this is where your passwords will remain. You can add them manually if you want by typing in, google.com is the site. My username is, Paul. Password is password, we'll say. I missed an S. Once you click save, now when we go to Google, I didn't use, oh, you know what? It ain't going to work for me. I'm actually offline right now. But basically, whenever you see that little thing that pops up in the top right corner that says, do you want Google Chrome to remember this password? Save it. And as long as this little icon up here next to the URL bar shows your photo and at least shows that it's, signed into, with your email address or your name, that's what's going to be syncing your passwords to the cloud. So if you go to a different computer and sign in on this browser bar, that will save your passwords to that account. So you can access them from anywhere and they're backed up. So even if you did delete them, we can recover them for you at that point. So passwords and autofill, password manager, Google's in here, it will require sometimes that you enter the computer's password. So the one you use in the morning when you first come in to unlock it, it'll be protected by that. So you enter that password. Now it's going to show you your username. You can view your password if you want. You can add a note. We can say this is for Google. So if you have questions, concerns regarding, what that password's for, put a note in there. Click save. This is for Google. So really simple password manager. It's built in and it comes included with our G Suite subscription. Hey, Brenda, what you got?
Hey, sorry, can you just go through that procedure just to get to this point one more time?
Yeah,
Click
so
here, click here, click here. Thanks.
3 dots in the top right. Passwords. And then password manager. And if you've saved them in the past, this is where you can view them too. You may not even realize your passwords have been being saved for you, but sometimes when they autofill, they're pulling from this. So this is the safest way to do it because these passwords are encrypted, at least with your Google account. So, there's other third-party password managers, 1Password, LastPass, RoboForms. There's quite a few other solutions out there, third-party solutions for your home or your personal use. But for now, let's get on the bandwagon to start saving those into Google. Make your life a little bit simpler. That way you don't have to type out passwords every time, and it's protected under your Google account. Any other questions on the passwords, best practices, what to do when you click on any links? It's a lot of information, but the best thing to remember is just be cautious. Don't click the links. If you're unsure, don't click it. But if it does happen, just let us know. Take those steps to clear your browsing history, and we'll do our best on the back end to make sure the computer is still protected. Any other comments? Nothing? We'll leave it open for a second. All right. Well, thank you all. I think it was a good BlueSync today. Enjoy the cold weather. I think it's warming up a little bit there. I'm in Florida right now, over in our Paradise region. So it's currently 72 degrees here and sunny. So I'm enjoying it.
We're having a heat wave. It's 43 and raining.
Oh, good. So it'll get everything wet and then freeze tonight. People down here keep saying Merry Christmas, and I'm like, it's July, isn't it? So, all right. Well, thank you all, and we'll see you around soon.